Fresh recording. Okay. So I don't have to edit out 8 minutes of bullshit. Now I only have to edit out like a minute of bullshit.
Yeah. But it's funny that you say that like Diamond's losing motivation to play because there's nothing to do, right? Because that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Because that's kind of what, like, over the past couple of weeks we've seen like a lot of the community just kind of express frustration about like there being literally nothing to do in the game. Like actual complete content droughts other than like I think we got that one event with the one where you got the extra expeditions. That was an event,
Oh
right?
yeah, that
But
was
that's
that was
yeah,
cool, but
dude.
like it didn't really offer anything.
well, exactly, like it's not content, it's not content really. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, we get 4 new expeditions. Okay, sure.
I'm like,
Like
sure,
great.
the expeditions give us primo gems. That's cool, but I'm gonna send my characters. You know what I did during that event? I sent my characters out, did my dailies,
And logged off.
and then logged off.
Yeah.
I did that the entire time for that event. I did not
Yeah.
participate really. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I could go do this little mini quest to make the expedition give me 20 instead of 10 primos. It's like, I'm just gonna stick to the 10. I'll see y'all later.
I mean, it's such a negligible amount as well. I mean, like, sure, like it adds up, right? Whatever. But I mean, it's not like you're missing out on much, right?
It really
And
wasn't.
and that I really don't, and that's just not content. That's not content to me. It's not content to me.
I don't
Like,
think it's
I
content to
think
anybody.
no, it's just like it's like when in that period, right? I would log on to Genshin, and I tell you not, right? I would literally play for about 15 minutes, and then I'd be done for like hours until my resin refreshed. So in that time, I've done all my commissions, I've burned through all my resin, and then I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, guess I'll just log off because there's nothing else to do,
I guess
right?
I'll go play a different game.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. Which is fine, right? Like I don't think we're asking for Genshin to be literally a game that you have to play 24/7, 7 days a week, right? I don't think that's. But more than 15 minutes a day, right? Like this isn't as much as, a lot of people play this game on mobile. It's not a mobile game experience, right? It's not supposed to be. It's not um marketed that way. It's marketed as this big, expansive, open world game that you can experience and you can do things with. And I think it just needs to start living up to that a little bit more, especially in terms of its end game. Because apart from the Spiral Abyss, which hasn't changed at all since launch, at least in terms of what you do with it, right? Like it's just been the same 4 floors since the game launched, you know? Like, and that refreshes every 2 weeks. So it's like it's a long time,
Right, you do
you know?
like you bang through it in the first day that you do it, and then
Yeah.
you don't touch it.
Yeah. I mean, like I go in, I get my 36 stars. Sometimes, like this Spiral Abyss rotation, like it takes me a couple days, a week to get 36 stars. But then I'm done, and that's only if because I have things to do, right? I can't just sit there and do it. But after that, you're like, okay, so guess I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs while I wait for 20 resin to go and do one domain, right?
Like, frankly, to be honest, the past 2 weeks, I haven't done weekly bosses because I don't.
I only do La Senora.
That's about it.
Yeah, I don't waste the resin on the others
Like,
because
I
there's no point.
could go fight Child, but I already have stuff, and I already have enough materials for Hu Tao from fighting Child previously that I have no reason to fight him.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I could go do it for the Battle Pass XP, and that's about the only reason to do them. And I don't even claim the rewards. I just bounce in, kill them, dip.
Yeah. There's no reason to do that, And it's like I think if MiHoYo just made the weekly bosses cost no resin, I mean, that's definitely not gonna fix the end game problem, right? But it gives us a little bit more to do,
That's
right? It gives
that
us the option,
that
you
how
know?
it goes into stemming into helping with our resin problems because
Yeah,
with the new bosses that are coming out, like as this game progresses, there's gonna be a huge resin problem, and we're
I mean,
already
there's already a huge
I,
resin
I
problem.
know, but it's gonna get worse if they don't do
Yeah,
something soon about it. They're
yeah,
releasing all these new characters, which, new bosses, new things to farm. It's like, all right, well, what about your older characters that people are still trying to farm for and build and whatnot? It's like it's not looking good. It's so hard just to farm anything. And then let's not even talk about trying to farm artifacts.
yeah.
Like there needs to be some like maybe give us like make it cost something for us to like maybe reroll a main stat or a sub stat, and then we get to choose what it is. But like maybe that material we have to get to do that, we have to farm it.
I think since Inazuma came out, resin's been a mess because you have so many characters that require so many different things now, right? Um, I think in particular the talent books. The talent books was a huge issue because I don't have like I'm still trying to level up Singchu, and I'm still trying to level up like older characters who I've had for a while, but I just haven't had time to get around to farming their talents up, or fully ascend to the levels that I want them to be at. And then you've got all these new characters who've come out, like Raiden and Sarah, who came out, and they use completely brand new talent materials. Like I have so many of the freedom books of freedom, like, and they're just not used ever because no one I use uses them. But like now I have to spend all this time farming all the scrolls of light for Raiden, and the elegance ones, I think, for Sarah or whoever. And then on top of that, I got these new bosses that I need to farm stuff for. And then you've got the old bosses that you need to farm materials for certain characters who you're trying to level up. It's just it's the amount of resin that it costs. Like it, I know it's not any more, but it feels like it's more. It feels a lot more strenuous because you can't even get things at the same time anymore, right? Like it just feels like hard to do. It feels so much harder to do, especially because when 2.0 came out, you couldn't pre-farm for characters either, right? Like
Hmm.
you were kind of just stuck waiting for the characters to, and it's the same thing with Arataki Ito and Goro, right? I mean, though they're the stuff that they need to
Ascend, upgrade their
be leveled and
weapons.
everything, we don't know what that is. We don't know like how to get it yet. So clearly, it's going to be a new boss or whatever, and then we'll have to farm that. And so it's like now we're stuck even further back waiting for these characters to get leveled, and it's like we can't even use them, you know. And I think that is kind of an issue because the end game isn't even the end game, right? The end game becomes leveling characters.
Right, that is pretty much endgame. Endgame has turned into almost like a damage showcase. I hate
Hey
to
man,
say that, but it kind of is because like that's
big number
all.
better.
I mean, you're not wrong. Bigger number, do more damage.
Why do we not have a Spiral Abyss for co-op?
Oh my god, that would be awesome!
That would
Dude,
be
like,
cool.
come on.
Yes.
You actually have
Mm.
to okay, dare I say the R word raid, but
He says,
imagine
dare I
but
say
just
it
a
in Genshin?
just imagine a 4-player like kind of like raid activity where you like go in, you actually have to like pick characters that work. Maybe you like need a specific element too, and then you have to do mechanics and shit. Like that's not like hard to think of.
Well, I mean, I think it would also change up um the way people play as well, because it changes people's play styles, right? So like when if you're talking about like, oh, you're just going in with one person playing as a single character the whole time, it immediately makes characters like Hu Tao and Child less appealing because they have downtimes, and they have inescapable downtime, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you can't swap off those characters and use someone else when their cooldowns are active for them to be able to pick DPS back up again, right? That's not how that works. So it would be a very, I think it would be good to like mix up, you'd see more like consistency being rewarded. So characters like Kokomi, for instance, become less useless
because you would need
uh,
healing probably.
because you would need healing, and she's, well, yeah.
There's nothing else.
She still wouldn't be great. She still wouldn't be great. I'm just trying to make,
because
I'm
then
just trying to
Bennett comes in and like you're doing DPS, you could heal and have
Yeah.
more damage at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be super controversial. Barbara would be actually really good. A C6 Barbara would be phenomenal.
Oh yeah, C6
oh, she
Barbara would
reses,
be,
right?
She
Yeah.
reses.
yeah, she
She
reses.
heals off her art, like off her basics when her R2's active, and then her alt heals and potentially can res. Like
And her
that makes
she-
Barbara even more
Mhm.
like
good
viable.
for applying melts as well,
Yep.
or whatever. I just
It,
just
it
hype
makes those characters that are less used more viable. Like Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi would actually be more useful.
And it would actually, in actual fact, it would take characters like Zhongli down a little bit, because Zhongli only gives himself, unless you have like the I think it's C4, C2, something like that. Whatever constellation it is where he gives everyone a shield, but he doesn't do that at C0. So that would take him down a peg, and it would make character. Well, Diona's already very good, but like Diona would be even better
Oh
because
yeah.
she gives at her C2 she gives everyone a shield.
The only way I'd see Zhongli being viable is constantly attempting to crystallize, drop shields around.
if crystallized would even work on something like a boss like that.
Well, it would still, because it like sucks the element out of it essentially.
I mean,
To
but
create,
that's
like,
not. You don't need Zhongli to do that. You could use any
sure.
any Geo
And you're
character.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are right. It would take him down a notch. He'd
Yeah.
still be useful in solo play, but not in
Oh no,
a
yeah,
but
completely.
not in a he's not good in a group activity. He's just not. He's very selfish. Like if you play him in like a solo, like even now, let's say you go into a domain as Zhongli, you're playing as a selfish character.
Unless you have like C4 or whatever it is.
I mean, sure, yeah. But like you offer no benefit to the team playing Zhongli.
Yeah, and
By
we mean
yourself.
in the sense of like if you were doing co-op, right? Like you don't, not because obviously it works different when you're playing as like a full team with yourself versus when you're playing with other people.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think it would be. I think it would change. It would also change like the way that, like, if you use Sing Cho, for instance, like, okay, great, you could use Sing Cho and you could still cast his ult and his skill, but the fact that if you don't level up his main attacks do like nothing, right? And they don't work in tangent with someone like Hu Tao anymore, right? Because you'd be hitting the targets independently, right? It makes them a little less viable. So it would mean that Sting Cho isn't necessarily
The
be
move.
all end all type thing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It would require
Yeah.
people a little bit more critical thinking as to what characters they're playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because they work very differently when you're playing them independently by themselves versus.
That's good. Like
Yeah, no,
it's a
it's
total
good.
drastic difference that I
Yeah.
think the game probably would need.
Yeah, it would be. I think it would be a pretty cool experience.
I think it
And
would be a little
I
bit more healthy for the game.
yeah, and I think the game does need like a good co-op.
Experience.
Yeah, because you can't even, and I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure you still can't even do the main story quests in co-op mode.
No, you can't. No.
Right. So I mean, which is ridiculous, by the way. Like absolutely just so fucking terrible. I don't know. I don't have any clue why you can't do them together, but whatever, right? So, the game does need a co-op mode that consists a little bit more of, okay, let's go fucking ram a boss, like I think a co-op Spiral Abyss would be fun.
Oh, it would have so many funny moments.
Yeah.
I think it would help. It would make the game a little bit more healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna
It,
stop the toxic people, but I mean,
but it also gives like people more things to do, right? Like if you've done your Spiral Abyss, you can go and help other people do their Spiral Abyss, and like help everyone get their shit together, basically, right? And have, and I think that's good. I think it just giving people more stuff to do is never a bad thing. You know what I mean?
it would make your. I feel like it would make your player population go up some.
Yeah, as well. Like, because that's the thing too. Is I mean, we've all been there at the lower levels where it was kind of a pain in the ass to do anything, right? Or there's content where you're just not, because you're not building artifacts or anything like that properly until you're at least AR 45. So below that level, you're kind of just making do with what you got, right? And then there are some quests and story quests, sorry, that can be really difficult. Like I remember the first time I did the child boss fight when it first launched. It was actually pretty difficult. Now, to be fair, this was my fault because I brought like the wrong characters with me. I was using the traveler who I hadn't leveled at all.
Oh my
Um,
god.
well, I for story purposes, right?
For
I didn't know it was the
story purposes.
yeah, I was going for the immersion, okay? And I didn't know that you'd have to fight him. Like this was the first time we were doing the story. So I had no clue that we were going to fight him. Because we just did the big battle with when Ningguang dropped the Jade Palace on the dragon thing, right?
hmm
So I thought that was it. I was like, okay, this is going to be like, just talky cutscene, and then we go in there, and all of a sudden we're having to fight, and I've got like a level 40 traveler, and Barbara with like no one else on my team, right? I can't remember who else I had, but no one useful. So like that was, but that was a tough fight, the first time that we did it. In fact, I think MiHoYo nerfed him in the story after that because people
What?
complained about how hard the fight was.
I do remember that being a thing. People
Whack.
like complaining how hard he was.
Yeah.
I think I was on a
Um,
hiatus at that time of
Yeah,
playing.
yeah. Especially because I think Child was the only, because we only before that we'd had was Dvalin and the Wolf.
Um,
And Dvalin has that really big downtime, right? He's a really simple boss. And the Wolf isn't exactly complicated. So Child was like the first boss where we had like phases, or proper like different health bars and forms and shit like that. So it was kind of like okay, this is new. We haven't seen this before. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be
Um,
against them making like a boss actually challenging, not insane, but challenging.
yeah.
Like
I
I don't understand why people are so afraid of like a difficulty curve.
yeah. I mean, I don't know like what you mean by the rewards could possibly like. What do you mean by because the bosses already give like rewards, right?
It could be some. It could just be a fun, quirky boss per like just per se or something like that, and then it could maybe like it could be done once a week, almost like a weekly boss type thing, and it'll drop like books, maybe some Mora, like not just like a small amount of Mora, like some Mora, like it almost gives like random rewards almost, but it's all useful.
I mean that could be so kind of like if you like okay, so let's take your idea. Let's say that this boss is like something that you summon, right? And you summon it in Inazuma, and it drops Inazuman like the scrolls, right? If you spawn it in like Monster, it'll give you the talent books that you can get in Monster, because you can get you can get like some talent books in the domain in Monster, and but there's more in the that doesn't work. Whatever, there's like a way that we sort it out, right? So that it's not completely random, but like random enough, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it could be maybe it'll give you weapon essential materials, stuff like
Yeah.
just stuff of that nature. So like I don't have to go farm the domain. I could potentially get it from this type of boss that has a
Mhm.
difficulty curve. I want
Mm.
something more challenging to do besides just Spiral Abyss.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Because
they
I
just
think
make Spiral Abyss just insanely hard, and I need to have farmed a crap ton of money just to potentially build my characters enough to be able to 36 star rate.
Yeah. Because I think that like Spiral Abyss is only one type of challenge as well. It's like, and people use it as like oh well, this character is really great at Spiral Abyss, blah blah blah. But it's like the Spiral Abyss isn't is only an example of one type of content, right? Like if there wasn't a timer on it, it wouldn't be even questionable what kind of characters you'd bring or like anything like that. You could literally use anyone. I think the only reason why we have things like the national team and the international team and blah is because of the fact that you need to, it's basically a DPS check within a certain time period, right? So it's like if you have a certain level of investment in XYZ character, you will be able, then like you can do it, right? Like it's not even a question of, oh yeah, you might be able to. No, like these teams have been proven that if you use them, they're gonna do it, right? It's not necessarily skill. It comes down to how much time or money can you invest into this game, into these characters. Like it just doesn't seem worth it to me to get new characters because why am I bothering? You know what I mean? Like I really enjoy Sarah. I like Kujo Sarah, but she doesn't actively help my Spiral Abyss team.
Oh no
You
no
know?
no no! I mean, let's be honest. Like, I feel like Terra's like only good in damage showcases,
Yeah.
or fighting like weekly boss, like or like bosses and stuff like that.
It-
It's kind of a form of like a Bennett. Okay, you're
if you don't
just
Yeah.
pair her with Bennett, it's not really the greatest, I think.
well, if
Because
you
no
have
Yeah.
her
healer.
C6, she's cracked.
Yeah, but only with like other electro characters though.
That
And
is true.
you know that is kind of limiting of like
Her
again,
usefulness.
yeah, because you're not going to use Sarah over, like if you're running her with a Beto, you're not going to run her over Fischl when you're using like someone like Child, right? And you're going to use the Taser team, right? Or
Mm.
even Kokomi. You're not going to run her over those
The taser
because
team.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
that's
first. I love it though.
have you never, that's what they're called, right?
I've
I've never
actually
heard of
never
Um
that.
heard anyone call it that.
yeah, it's the Electrocharge team because you basically run Bennett, uh Fischl, Beto, and Child, and then you just smack things with Electro.
That's
It's really great.
awesome.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's really great with AoE. But yeah, you're not going to use Sarah over them because you already have Bennett on that team, and the
No
amount of
healing. No
you,
healing.
you don't have any healing, and the amount of damage that you're outputting with Fischl um, and Beto is more than if you would sub them in for Sarah to use her buff. So it's kind of like she doesn't fit there. Um, it's just she just doesn't fit with like a lot of the teams to run for the content that is required of the end game, right? Like she just doesn't,
No, yeah, she
which is
just doesn't
unfortunate.
fit it. I mean,
Yeah,
frankly, I still feel like she's only really made for ball.
yeah. I mean, totally. Like
I hate saying that, but like it's kind of true. I mean,
It
sure,
is really kind
it
it's
of
is
just
true.
that true.
it's also because like we don't have that many good electro characters.
No, well,
There's
I'm
there's
no.
only a couple that are actually solid. Pretty much ball, official, Beidou. That's pretty much it.
And
I
There
Kate
mean,
you go.
that's
Ching, if you
most.
really care about Kate Ching,
Yeah,
but
sure.
only if you care about Kate Ching.
Yeah, but
Not
then
a lot of people do.
even they have their niches, right? Like so, Beto's only really good if there's more than like for single target, her DPS goes down dramatically because of how her ult works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, and Fischl, she doesn't have that much AOE, so it's like they they have their own niches, right? I don't think it's necessarily a problem with there being like no electric characters. I think it would be nice to see like different forms of Endgame activity other than the Spiral Abyss. I mean, like the Labyrinth event that we've got going on right now, like I think that's great. I love this.
But it's
It's
not
so
to
much fun.
stay. It's not to stay. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so like even just to have something like like I mean, I did kind of just smash through the enemies, right? Like I'm not gonna lie, I did. But um I think this is like the levels of the enemies in there are going up every week, every like new one. I haven't done the new one that's unlocked today. Um, so I don't know if this is true, but I think the levels of all the enemies inside go up with every like day progressively, like
Mm-hmm.
every new stage it gets unlocked. So I think they'll reach Spiral Abyss levels, maybe potentially,
Probably not,
hopefully,
honestly, because it's only
probably
like
not.
it's probably because it's only a temporary event. So I don't think,
Yeah,
and that would exclude a lot of people from getting it done if they put it to that level. But if
yeah.
they were to put it in permanently, I think it'd give us another good source of end game content
Oh yeah.
because it's random. Maybe give us
Hmm.
a little bit of primos at the end, not much, maybe like 20 for every like floor, kind of like a Spiral Abyss type thing. But it's your floors are random. You don't know what you're gonna encounter. You don't know what you're gonna have to fight.
Yeah. I mean, and
And
that's
give us
something
like
that I
give us the exact same opportunity to like be able to switch out characters. That's fine. But like I feel like that would make the difficulty curve go up a little bit because you don't know what to expect.
yeah. And like I think if you had like super hard, they even have like you've got the shop there for it. You could just put like even if that was like on a 2 week rotator, right? You could just refresh the shop every 2 weeks, kind of like how you can do with Tubby every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just put like you don't have to put primo gems in there or anything. They really don't have to. Just Mora and then books and then whatever for like clearing the floors. You know what I mean? You don't have to do it in a time limit because I think that's if you just make this labyrinth full of like exceedingly powerful like spiral abyss level enemies, right? You don't need a time limit for that.
Maybe also offer us some fragile resin out of it to
Fragile
help
resin,
to help with the resin problem we're having.
yeah, yeah. And then like I don't know a maybe every patch you can get like what is it called? They're not emblems. What are they called? Name cards. There's
Oh, name
give a
cards,
name card.
yeah.
Give a fucking name card. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Oh, there's like new name cards.
Something. Yeah, exactly. Like something like that could be cool. You know what I mean? You don't need to do much. You just need to have it there and give us something to do. Like it's interesting. It's interesting. It's just interesting. And I think it would be such a huge waste for it to just go, and be it's kind of like what was that one, the Theater Mechanicus. Everyone played that when
Oh,
it
that
when it
was
first came
such a
out.
cool event. I actually
Yeah.
loved that. It was
Which
actually
one?
like if you went in blind doing it, like it was actually kind of like difficult.
Yeah.
Which
Did
one?
you play Theater Mechanicus, Mark?
I don't.
It was like
Okay.
tower defense, bro.
Yeah.
Tower defense.
It was like it was like tower defense. You put down like elemental totems of a sort. I'm gonna call them
Yeah.
totems, and like you had to defend, and the totems had to defend against waves of enemies.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I actually had a lot of fun
Yes.
doing it, and it even
Yeah.
like you could even co-op with it, which made it even more fun.
Mm-hmm. It was really good, and like is one of those I think when it came back in 2.0, it was really fun. That I liked the changes that they made to like the way that it worked, right? I thought it was really good. um and it was one of the only events that I've done outside of like playing the activity once to get the rewards, right? Like I went back in to explore with different types of, like I did all of the physical turrets um a couple times, and like all hydro, and was seeing if I could get beat the floors just by using one type of turret, which is really fun because if you get all the physical if you get all the physical turrets going,
Oh my
and
god,
you get all that.
they're ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, yeah, they shoot the big laser ball things that just seek enemies across. It's crazy. It's so much fun. But like that would be fun to have something like that every week or every 2 weeks or whatever. So I think between Theater Mechanicus, the Labyrinth event that we have right now, and Spiral Abyss, I think that's a good solid start. You know what I mean? Like a really good like place for them to go, okay, and the thing is they've already got it. It's already there. Like they just need to
Put it in
build
the
it
game.
into the game. They just need to put some harder enemies in the labyrinth thing, and then just refresh it every couple weeks. It's already here. It's there. Just keep it, you know? And that's the thing that frustrates me is like they have this stuff. They just don't use it, you know?
They have plenty of missed opportunities to
Yeah.
actually like provide permanent content for their players,
Yeah.
and I
It's
don't.
like I was even like thinking about, you know, all the dungeon domains that they added with Inazuma, right?
Hmm.
Um, I really like those. Those are really fun. And I just love like walking through. Like I remember the first time I did one of them, I was like, "What the fuck game am I playing?" Like it didn't even look like Genshin because you're inside like this area and you're walking through corridors and you're like looking for things, right? It felt a lot more adventure game rather than open world RPG, which is what Genshin is, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, this is really cool. Like this is really cool. Um, and so even if they just did something where they opened those back up each week, right, and you could claim the rewards again or whatever, like that right there is like a couple hours worth of content.
Maybe give it a few difficulties too.
Difficulty tiers, yeah, exactly.
And obviously like how their other events even work, like the easy one's easy and it offers some moderate rewards, and then the rewards kind of get a little bit more progressive as the
Yeah,
difficulty
I
goes
mean, they
up.
don't even need to give you super low. Just the rewards that they give you on base will do. You know what I mean? Because there's enough of them in there, right? Like you don't need to. You don't need to give us crazy amounts if we can do all of them each week.
Right.
But like, it's just something for us to use the characters that we're spending so much time and energy and resources building, because there's nothing to use them for right now.
It's like, hey, I'm gonna build characters and then I'm gonna bench them.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Like I feel like characters only really have a use when you actually spend so much time and resources on is Spiral Abyss, but even then that's like so situational that like you could build a team and then there would be a modifier in there that like makes that team completely useless. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
why did I even build these people? Why did I spend all
Yeah.
this resources, and like you kind of just regret it.
Yeah. It's like I remember when there was a version of the Spiral Abyss. I think it was like there was a hydro debuff, right? And it reduced all your cooldowns by like a shitload, right?
I
It
hated that so
I
much.
hated that. It just neutered all my characters because my DPS characters at the time my choices were Ningguang, Ganyu, and Hu Tao. And Ganyu and Ningguang are fine, but the floor 12 chamber 3 had the abyss lectors right in them, and Ningguang can't take down their she wasn't C6, and I didn't have Skyward Atlas at the time, so she just couldn't take down the shields quick enough. And then Ganyu is fine, but then I need someone else on the other floor, and my choices are Child and Hu Tao. And
Oh my god, and Child, oh my god, his
Child
cooldown
and
with
Hu
that.
Tao both have cooldowns on their shit. So
Okay,
it just completely fucked them. I literally couldn't do it
I feel like
because
it's
of the
worse on
speed.
Child because his thing is a 30-second cooldown on his skill.
Yeah, if you use it all the way, it is a 30-second cooldown. Yeah.
Like
I
that's an
mean, I
oofy.
think the minimum, yeah, it is kind of a big oof. But like, their cooldowns were brought up to like 15, 20 seconds for no reason. Just for existing. So it was really punishing, and I couldn't 36 star it. I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the characters to do it. And it's like it annoyed me because I was like, this is stupid. It's artificial intelligence. It's like it's looked at the characters that I've invested in and just laughed at them. It was so annoying. But no, yeah, like that's the thing about Spiral Abyss. Like in the Labyrinth content, like you don't have that problem, right? Because you know you're not worrying about like the cooldowns being fucked with, or debuffs and all of that, except for the ones that you earn by like stepping on traps and shit, right?
Mm-hmm. I just like the entire concept of the labyrinth. I really hope, I really wish it would stay as a
Yeah.
permanent content, but they're probably just gonna take it away and then we'll never see it again.
Not for another year.
Idea, keep it permanent, custom labyrinths.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Fucking
ooh.
Zelda style like they did for Link's Awakening.
Ooh, like Mario Maker, but
Yeah.
that would be really fun.
Oh my god, that could actually be.
Ah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That would be really fun. That would be so cool. Like you can pick what enemies you put in there too. Make it like custom difficulty. That would be really cool.
That would just
Actually different.
that would just give you something to do. Like you don't even have to get anything out of it. It would just give you something to do.
I mean, yeah, people do that shit though. You know what I mean?
That
And,
shit
would-
maybe you could even just like have other people like, I'm not sure, maybe like they'd have to come to your world, or you'd have to give them some kind of like code to it.
Code or something. Yeah, I don't know.
that shit'll last till the end of this game's existence. You could
Yeah.
always just
You already know
updating.
people would make the most. That right there actually has a lot of potential content.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that.
There's so I just think now that like the amount of YouTube content you can make off of that is
I know,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It'd be
Sure.
so clickbait worthy, but like it'd be hard.
Even like Miyoho can do something about it. Like, oh, the labyrinth of the week or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they could get a lot out of it. But I don't think that. I think they're happy doing what they're doing, which is
Boring as fuck.
Not any
yeah,
permanent content.
the temporary content, yeah, which is just unfortunate, because I think the pro, when it comes to like the pros and I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy some of the temporary like little event things that they do,
Mhm.
right? Like it's fun, and you can tell like not all of it is meant to be like
Permanent.
serious, right? It's not meant to be serious, and it's not like super endgame meta defining, shit, right? Which is totally fine. Like not every event has to be. But when you're in this situation that we're in right now, where we have literally nothing to do, every event that they put in the game is going to be micro. You're looking at it with like a laser. You're laser focused on it because it's the only thing we have to do. It's like the event we just had, the one with Kazar with the rhythm game event.
I thought
That
I really enjoyed that. That was really relaxing.
I wish it was harder.
I mean, so there you go, exactly right there, right? You've got people who were looking at it and they're like, I mean, me, I couldn't give a fuck about it. I just did it, got my rewards, and was like, all right, cool, And then you've got someone like Swag who literally lives in rhythm games.
At the moment,
And-
yes.
Yeah. And like would love to sit there and make it even harder and keep doing it, you know what I mean? Whereas like his point of view and like my point of view are different on them. I would be like, you know what, why are you wasting your time on this? I don't want any of this. Give me more labyrinth content. Get rid of this. So it's kind of like if they had something there to keep me more interested, like generally outside of the little events.
Koopa
I
just
would
wants to
be a
beat the
little-
fuck out of some things.
Yeah, I would be like more interested in taking the time to like do stuff, and even like things like fishing or gathering wood or stuff like that. Like I don't want to do any of that. It's not content. It's not, I don't enjoy it. I don't like going around beating the shit out of trees with my characters. Like I can't be bothered. I don't want to do that.
Why
You
do
know
the
what I
trees
mean?
not fall over? What the fuck?
Because physics.
You only get a limited amount of one tree, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 3.
Then why
That's
don't you just
true.
make them fall over? Come on, man. It's not hard.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the game could benefit from more. I think if MiHoYo put some of this stuff and treated it like additional endgame content as opposed to like temporary content, I think it would be easier for them, and they would just have such an easier time PR wise if they when they event their shitty little events that no one cares about. You know what I mean? Because they're like, well, it's just an event, you can do it and have fun, and it's whatever, it's fine, it's fun, it's supposed to be fun, like, and let them get on with it, right? But because we don't have anything to do in the game, every time they release something like that, it's like, MiHoYo, please, what are you doing?
We just want more stuff to do.
I want to do stuff, and you're giving me more expeditions Do I look like I give a single flying fuck about expeditions?
I forgot those
No.
existed.
But like, do you get what I mean? Like, it would just be easier for them, and I think they need to do it, because the other thing is, whether they see it that way or not, every time they release a new region, that content is temporary too. It has a life on it. Like, I mean, look at Inazuma. I love Inazuma. It was so good. It's so good. The problem is I've done it now. You know, like,
Mhm.
it's finished. I've done it.
What am I supposed to do now?
It's like, and now I'm like, okay, what else do I do? What's next? You know? And the other problem is, like, because they have uh story content that, people need to be able to clear, they can't really push the boundaries in terms of difficulty, which means that, like, when you're an endgame player and you've built all these characters, you kind of smash through everything, but you don't really get to, which is fine, but you don't. Again, there's no real reason for me to build new characters. Like, why am I going to build new characters? Why? What is the point? What is the purpose? Like, I'm sitting here like, oh, Yai Miko, I'm really excited for her to come out because I really want her. But at the end of the, like, realistically, really and truthfully, why? You know what I mean? Why?
Cause she do big damage.
Yeah, but I already have characters that do big damage. Do you know what I
No,
mean? I
you need
don't.
more.
Yeah, but
Buy
do you see?
Primos.
Fucking Christ. But there's no
Oh,
way to
but no,
really utilize it.
yeah. There's no reason for me to get it. It's like I'm sitting here. Hu Tao's banner's coming out, here in like a week or so, just over, and like, I already cleared the Spiral Abyss. I already do everything. I don't need to get another console. I don't need to use my primos on Hu Tao. I don't need stuff of Homer. I don't need Hu Tao C1, because I already do the things. So it's really hard for me to justify actually getting, especially with the shit rates that they have on the banners, particularly the weapon banner,
Oh
for me
god.
to
Oh my
even
fucking god.
bother using my primo gems. Like, it's just so hard for me to justify it, right?
I feel like there's no reason to really spend money on this game. There's
No.
In a
actually
in a long term sense, if you already have everything you do is just more stuff towards the next thing you get. So if you look at it like that, it's not the worst. But in the moment, you're just dreading everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like, whenever I recommend the game to someone, I'm like, yeah, I'd highly recommend it. Like, you'll have a great time, but don't spend any money on it, because there's no point. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you spend money, you're basically not going to enjoy the game, because there's nothing for you to work towards. There's no reason for you to log in every day.
Unless
Because
you
if you've already
do
got
what I do.
everything, well, yeah, yeah. but but no, like, there's no reason for you to do anything, because if you have all the characters that you want, then there's no longer a reason for you to be excited for a new banner or a new, anything, because you've already got it, so, like, why?
since there's such a lackluster of like actual in-game content, there's no reason to spend money because even if you do, like Kupo said, there's no excitement. There's no disappointment that you miss something. Just because you hate that you miss something, that means when it comes back around again, you're even more excited to want to play the game, to be more lasered in to grind and get that character.
Hmm.
Versus like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna spend a fuck ton of money and oh yeah, I have a character. What do I do with this character now? Spend more primos so you can farm them. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you can only refresh your resin 5 times a day, and that's only 60, by the way. I think a
Yeah.
cool thing they could do is maybe give us one free 60 refresh a day.
I mean, they
It
like,
doesn't.
even when I
It has to
think
be
about it.
small changes they have to do to
Yeah.
help our resin cap. Maybe increase
Well,
the cap. Maybe I think they like realistically just need to reduce how long it takes we get it.
I mean, one resin every 8 minutes. I mean, that ain't it.
That
That ain't
ain't
it.
it, chief.
No, like, it just takes so long to
And especially
refill.
how awful artifact drops are.
Oh, don't even get me started on
Like
that.
He just starts crying.
if I could farm a little bit more, that would be amazing. Without having to spend money.
Yeah, yeah. Right, that's the thing. If I could sit there and farm artifact domains all day, I would. Like I shit you not, I absolutely would, because it gives you something to do, and I like you feel a sense of progression, and it takes so fucking long to get just one piece let me one piece with usable substance, okay? And then you've got to roll the fucking thing, and all of those rolls are gonna go straight into flat defense if you have that fucking thing there. You absolutely know it. I got a god roll piece, right? It had energy recharge, attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. This was on a feather. Every single roll, this was a 4-drop as well, so this was it. This was my moment, that I was like, oh my god, Garnu is going to kill absolutely everything. You think Garnu's strong now, you wait till you see this piece. Everything went into fucking energy recharge.
That's so annoying.
33%
Where's my artifact pity? Come on.
Yeah,
fucking energy
right?
recharge. I was like, are you fucking crazy? Oh
One thing they
god.
could do is give us more artifacts that we can turn 5-star artifacts into, besides just the 4 sets.
I think they will add to that over time. I
They
think they will.
need to give us access to the older sets into it, because even then, it's still not guaranteed that we're gonna get anything fucking good out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's the
gonna be
thing.
using all my stuff for Crimson Witch sets only to get defense main stat every time.
Defense main stat, Lava Walker. Yeah, it would be really. I would really love it if they put Thundering
Fury.
Fury
Oh,
into
that'd be
the.
so nice.
That'd be nice,
They,
because I wouldn't have to farm that domain.
I know. That domain's actually pain.
But yeah, I think there are things, and the thing that just kind of annoys me is that I said before, like, they have the stuff there and they know what to do, right? And the frustrating thing is that they just don't do it. And I really think MiHoYo really should start thinking more about, because the game is over a year old now, you know. So I think they need to keep those players
Engaged.
engaged, because, and not necessarily just on, I mean, obviously focus on the newer players too, because they're important.
Of course, you want to keep your current players and you want to be able to keep your new players.
Right, you need to keep the players that have been playing the game forever, because the plebs like me are the ones who are putting money into the game, and if there's no reason for me to do that anymore, like, I haven't bought the battle pass yet. This is the first patch in about five patches that I haven't bought the battle pass. I don't need to.
You Mora? Buy the battle pass.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, but I could equally just farm ley lines, because what else am I doing with my resin? Literally nothing. Getting shitty artifact drops, great, wonderful, excellent.
Artifact drops aren't guaranteed, but Mora is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
So,
always
like,
expected to get a set amount of Mora. At least I won't be disappointed.
well, this is it, I remember one time I was like, okay, I'm gonna spend the week farming out Mora, and then 1 week farming out XP books. And I took one, and I logged in, and I was like, what, I really want to just try and get some good artifacts. I was like, I could get a really good, like, new fucking crit damage helmet for, like, Ganyu or something, right? And I was like, what, I'm bored. I want the excitement, right? So I went and did. I used all my fucking resin, including a condensed resin, on a domain. I can't remember what domain it was, and I got actual garbage. Like, none of it was good. None of it was good. I didn't get a single usable roll. It was the fucking the cryo domain, that one.
Oh, the
And
one
I
on
didn't get a
Dragonspine?
single good roll on anything. I got nothing. When I tell you I got nothing, I mean I got literally garbage, nothing good at all. And then I tried infusing it into artifact exchanger for some wandering troop pieces. I was like, okay, well, this isn't the end of the world. I can do this, and I have some other garbage artifacts lying around. I can infuse them all, and maybe I'll get something good for Ganyu. Did I get anything good for Ganyu? Absolutely not. I got nothing. And it was just a whole day's worth of resin. Like a day and a bit, because I used that condensed resin. And I just got nothing. And I was like, this is just terrible. What was the point? I could have had so much more Mora. Like, it would have been great. I would have had like 7 million Mora by the end of the day. But instead, I decided to farm artifacts and got literally nothing. Like, actually nothing. In fact, I came out worse than I did before because I had no artifacts left. Because I used them all in the stupid transfiguration thing. This is gross.
I just don't like what's in the transfiguration. The only good set that's in there, honestly, is Noblesse. That's like
Noblesse?
super viable.
Yeah, Noblesse is pretty good. I liked them being there because it means I don't need to farm the domains to get them. Because the problem with the Noblesse domain is that it's also with the physical set, the bloodstain domain.
The blood chivalry.
Yeah. But yeah, whatever that fucking thing's called, and that's literally garbage. Like,
That's
you need a physical
so
set.
bad.
Yeah, if you need a physical set, you use the other one.
You use Pale Rider.
And yeah, and I don't use any physical characters, so it's literally a waste of my time. So I don't mind the fact that the Noblesse set is in there. You couldn't farm for the Wanderer's Troop or the Gladiators.
Yep.
So
That's the only
those
way
are pretty good
the
being in there.
only way to get it. But even then, like, they're not any like I don't want to say like meta, but like it's more so best in slot artifacts for characters.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, they're good sets. I mean,
They're not actually awful. It's just there's better sets.
Yeah, I mean the Wanderer's Troop is only best in slot for Ganyu. I'm pretty sure. And
it's not best in slot, but super good on Yanfei.
I mean, yeah. But and then there's the Gladiator set, which is kind of useless. But the 2-piece set is very, very versatile. But even then, they just gave us the Shimenawa set, which has the same 2 set. And you're going to be farming Shimenawas and Severed Fate, which is a very, very strong set as well. So you're going to get a bunch of them. What was the other one? And the Bloodstained fucking set you can get in there too, which I'm sure no one has ever transponded anything for.
There's nothing there. That domain is so useless.
Yeah.
There's no point to farm it.
Yeah, I think they'll add new stuff in eventually. I would love it if they put the Viridescent set in there.
Oh, that'd be
because
so
that
please.
would be incredible.
I think like as we progress, they need to start putting in the older sets into it.
Mm-hmm. And also maybe put like a reroll system on the just if not the sub stats, just the normal stats.
Like the main stat.
Like the main stat would be lovely.
I'd be fine with that. Because I can get a garbage roll, but awesome substats.
Yeah, like I keep getting these HP pieces or like healing, but I had a cracked out healing bonus with like crit rate, crit damage, and energy recharge on it. And I
hey
was
man,
like,
we're not gonna talk about my pyro circlet, okay? It's a
healing bonus. Like, why?
So bad. It's so good, but it's so bad.
Oh no.
Like, even if you gotta make it kind of expensive, just let me do it. Let me just have the option to do it. I don't care if I have to spend if it's 1 million more to turn that motherfucker into pyro damage bonus, please let me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think we've kind of touched on everything that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we're at an hour.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything they want to add, or?
I'm pretty much good, honestly.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Fuck me.
If you want.
All right, guys. We'll catch you later.
Thank you. This has been an episode of SlimeCast. Swaggy, hit it.
Podcast. Ow!